Hello everybody, Happy New Year. We're going to go through some of the news, some of the sports, some of the things that have been going on. A lot of games today. And just kind of get caught up. I've got the old Android out today, having some GoPro problems. And we're not even sure what they are yet. Unknown GoPro problems. That's all right. That's why we've got multiple backups. It's probably about 40 degrees out here in Columbus, Ohio. New Year's Day 2021. I hope you were safe last night. And I just work. That keeps me safe. Working, people say, why do you work so much? It keeps me out of trouble. That's it. That's it, bro. My friends are asking me to quit saying bro all the time. I had a Lyft rider once. He said bro probably every other word. And he talked a mile a minute to his friends. If I had to guess, I'd say there were probably 19, like 19, 20 right in there. And 3 of them sat in the back. And the one in the middle did all the talking the whole way. And he's like, bro, that bro, and then we did bro, and bro, you don't know, bro. Like, I'm not kidding, the whole road, the whole ride. And I thought, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. Let's just cover some scores real quick. In the second quarter, Auburn is behind Northwestern, 21-13. Now this is an interesting game. I think this just finished. Georgia beats Cincinnati. Now Georgia was ranked number 9, Cincinnati number 8. I believe, that's the final. Limited in-person attendance. Uh, 24-21, very close game, very evenly matched teams, at least based on their ranking. Very interesting. Let's see, what else we got going on today? At 4 o'clock Eastern, which is where we are here, of course, we've got Alabama and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I haven't been following Notre Dame too close, but golly, it's a long way from where they used to be not too long ago. So good for them. 4 o'clock Eastern. I know if people. I remember being in college. I was doing an internship at a TV station in Ohio, and I had to call ad agencies in New York. They'd say, what time are you on out there? What time zone is that? Same as you, bro. But I guess that's a reasonable, because it's probably, what, 9-hour drive? Something like that. Dream Center, what does it say? Let's check that out. Dream Center Garden. I'm not 100% sure what this school is, or Dream Center Garden. If you're hungry, please ask the Dream Center for assistance, and we can help. Well, that's cool. Get some fresh food. Oh, there's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of boxes. Columbus Gifted Academy. Oh, visitors report, deliveries, blah, 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 blah. This won't be too long of a daily dose of Ditzel, because I have to get back to work. But I got to do it more. I know I've been kind of failing, but a lot of good things happening. So you know, do what we can. What else we had going, man? Is that it? It's got to be a later game, right? So many bowl games have been played already, right? Yeah, of course, Ohio State and Clemson today at 8. And again, Ohio State ranked number 3, Clemson ranked number 2. That's the Sugar Bowl. That's going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern time. I wonder what the spread is on that game. It's probably not that big a spread. This is interesting. I read this that the Browns are playing the Steelers. Is it tomorrow? It's Saturday. And since the Steelers already won their division, they're going to rest some of their starters. And so therefore, a few experts put their chances of winning at 57%. So, for example, 538.com, last I checked, had Browns 57% chance of winning against the Steelers. However, let's see if I can cross here real quick. I look down the sidewalk, there's like a pack coming across, and I knew I would not want to walk in the street. Wait till I get off this busy road here. Yeah, so let me rephrase that. So the guy at 538, Nate Silver, is that his name? He had the Browns at 57%. However, other sources indicate that, or point out that, since the Steelers have already won their division, they're probably going to rest a lot of their best players. And they also haven't had a bye week. So therefore their players are more playing more than other teams, so they're going to rest him. So for that reason, Vegas puts the Browns odds at 72% chance of winning. But does that include, I assume it does, but does that include the fact that it'll be in Pittsburgh? I think that's a major factor, that the game will be at First Energy Stadium. And of course, being a Browns fan, kind of hoping for that win. The Browns, honestly, no matter what they do in the game, they've done so much better. So much better. If you don't follow the Browns, I can't imagine you do. Up till this season, they've been just kind of pathetic last few years. So I just read an article about the owner of the Washington football team was actually going to let the coach bench the quarterback. Forget his name. It came out of Ohio State. And the reason they picked out this particular quarterback has been there 3 years. He was picked out before the current coach, I think it's Ron Rivera, got there. And the difficulty at the Washington football team, I'm sure among many other teams, is that the owner, has his fingers in the pie too much, they say. So one of the reasons they picked up this quarterback was because of the owner. He was, in the press account I read, they said he was infatuated with this player. Sorry, I can't remember his name. And and that's why they acquired him. New coach comes in, Ron Rivera, and part of the deal was, and you know how these things go, but part of the agreement was that he would have control. It would be hands off. I can't run this team if you're going to constantly do stuff like that kind of thing. And but we've all had those jobs, right? Oh, you'll be able to do X, Y, Z. You start the job, you can't do X, Y, Z. So the thrust of the article was that, lo and behold, the owner is actually letting the coach bench this quarterback. And they went on to say that, wouldn't it be great if so many owners just hired professional NFL coaches and let them do their job? If they fail, they fail. It wasn't it. Who was telling me the old Pittsburgh Pirates? That's how they ran the Pirates. I know it's baseball, but in terms of professional sports, the family had owned that team forever. I don't think they still do, but they would just let the coaches coach, and managers manage. And they had some of their best years under that leadership. Now, I mean, we've all been fans of teams that it wasn't the owners, it was the coach, or it was the million other things, the budget to, invest in players, and injuries always plays a huge factor, which people forget. What was the team? This is nothing to do with coaching, but in terms of owners making out like a bandit. There were these guys in, I'm going to say Charlotte, back in the day, like 1970. They bought an ABA team, American Basketball Association team. I think it was Charlotte, but like some, smaller market like that in the South. Or I just remember like the Atlantic states. And $1 million was a lot for a know-nothing team, a bad team in a league that was faltering. So their bet was that the National Basketball Association would merge with the ABA, and therefore they would get their money back and more. And sure enough, that's what happened. And the NBA offered them, I think there's 3 or 4 owners in this ownership group, $2 million. So they doubled their money. But they had a clause in there. It said, we want, as part of this deal, 3% of all future TV revenues forever. And again, lousy team, Charlotte, 1970, or early 70s. NBA said sure. And also, I'm not sure that, well, who knows, but I was going to say, I don't know if NBA was necessarily making tons of money on TV by that time yet. Of course it does now, but who knows. But anyway, so that money, that little 3% of the TV revenues, because they moved the team, I think they moved the team twice. The NBA moved it twice. And I forget where they ended up, but they earned over that time $300 million. till recently, within the last 5 years. So then the TV contract came up again, and the NBA said, hey, we want to just buy you out. We just want to buy out your 3%. So they got for a straight buyout, for of all their, relinquish their rights, they were paid $500 million. So for $1 million in 1970, they earned, what, $750 million, essentially. Now let's say those guys were at least in their 30s by that time, and this is 1970. So they were, well, let's say it's 30. So they were 60 in 2000. A lot of them are probably gone, right? Because that'd be 20, that'd be 80 years old. So but still, they have families, they have descendants, they have people that inherit that. It's crazy. Not to mention the millions they made all that time. So they had a good life on $1 million investment. The trick is to get that first million. Don't look at me. Don't look at me, bro. I knew I was going to make, decent money, but I wanted to have an adventure. I didn't want it to be just like, sat in front of my computer 12 hours a day, day trading stocks, or I spent my whole life on airplanes, acquiring companies. I guess that'd be an adventure, but so I had all this money, but I didn't have any adventure. I didn't have any fun. So it depends what I guess you think is fun, but day trading stocks, looking at graphs all day. I wanted the job itself to be an adventure. The business, I like business. I want to be in business, but I'm in business, but I wanted that element of business. That's why I like sales. And so I guess acquiring companies would be selling and negotiating. But it's got to be fun. It really does. And I'm not talking, jump up and down for joy every day. But if it's just a total grind where you hate it, and Monday comes and you get, knots in your stomach, you're like, oh, that's not a good sign, bro. That's not a good sign. There should be some element. One of the challenges was dealing with so many knuckleheads. That's a real challenge in any industry. There's just so many. I mean, it's a chronic condition out there. And even if they're good at what they do, they're so toxic. There's so many toxic people. There really are. And you just have to, I found that you just try to have as much fun with them as you can. You just try to, use as much humor. You don't have to necessarily be joking with them, but I'm just saying, use your own power of humor to kind of smile inside, I guess is the way to say it. But yeah, there's so many. And we're not talking like the CEOs. I mean, they could be, but junior middle managers. Not even like middle managers. They could be some of the worst. And this is during this current era, where they talk so much about employee engagement. I remember having this manager. He was actually the president of this company. Gave this great speech about employee engagement. It's great. I'm looking around like, really? We don't have any of this. So why should we do it now? As soon as that meeting was over, immediately he went right back to his default 1950s autocratic fear style, like immediately. This guy had a great move. He would, so the company was based in New York and we were in LA. He'd walk through the sales floor like as if he was on the phone. The whole way. Like a minute. So I pictured him standing outside the door to our office, getting his phone ready, and then walking in, right? And he would just do the head chin nod to people, because he didn't want to have to interact with anybody. And then if he did interact with you, it was like pain. Like you could see he was pained and uncomfortable. I'm not making this up, man. I'm looking at him like, wow, you look like you're being tortured, He was better, like amongst when people from his own team were around. You could see he was better. I don't know if he just didn't want to be outside of New York or whatever. But it was just funny. But nothing, there's no employee, there's no, but it was an older company, and that's the way they had done it literally since 1959. Just the way they did it, how, that style. And it's, and then when I was in the computer business and I was exposed to like Apple and companies like that, not that there wasn't, similar people in those companies, but at least the overall approach was much more modern, And that was back in the day. I don't know about that. Yes, I know Steve Jobs could be a pill, as my mom would say, but overall Apple was Actually, Apple was kind of excited. I didn't work at Apple. We were a reseller of Apple products. But working with Apple people, they were pretty exciting to be around. They were on a mission, right? You felt like Apple was on a mission. And I just remember this one guy, we had these seminars in selling their products. This one guy was so excited about it. He'd come in and say, okay, does anybody have any questions? Like he'd give this fantastic, enthusiastic presentation. Does anybody have any questions? You don't have any questions? How can you not have questions? He goes, guys, this is it. This is it. This is the most exciting product we've ever produced. It's right here in front of you right now. And you're going to be on the front line selling this product to corporations. So give me questions. You know, and then maybe somebody like do their half hand raise. Do the half hand raise. Okay, go ahead. Blah 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 blah. Good question. See, now we're going. And he wasn't being he wasn't being a dick about it. He was really genuinely enthusiastic about selling Apple computers and wanted you to be too. And if you weren't, there was something wrong with you. That's the way his approach was. And he was right. Because not long after that, because this is way back in the day, but not long after that, Apple just was, zoomed to the top. I think when I was reselling their products, it was early days, like in the late 80s. Yeah, late 80s. But that's a whole different style than, a lot of the old school companies that just have this very toxic, punch in the face style. Which, maybe some companies need that. Maybe some teams need that, a little kick in the rear. Not a punch in the face. Don't punch anybody in the face. But maybe they need to shake them up. But I'm talking companies that have been doing the same thing in the same way for 30, 40 years. There was one leader in an industry I was in, one leading company. They made their salespeople buy their own computers. What? And they were making money. They were making lots of money. And so can you imagine, you're the head of tech support for this company. Everybody has their own individual, they call up and, hey, my computer's not working. Well, what do you got going? Oh, I've got, a million different softwares on every, I don't know. And of course, later in computing, corporate computing, that became common. That bring your own. They called it bring your own, protocol. And then the companies had software that would interface with a variety of people's own. Bring your own device. BYOD. Bring your own device. And that was much later. So can you imagine? And you're in New York. Yeah, this is Zeb over here in the regional office in Oklahoma City. My computer's not working. Well, Zeb, what do you got on there? Oh, I've got 3,000 games that my kids gave me. Well, Zeb, that's clogging up your hard drive. You're gonna have to delete half of those. No, I can't do it. My boy gave them to me. And he loaded them on there. I don't even know. He goes, I can barely turn the computer on. Oh, golly. So I guess the message here, guys, is for this one, go Buckeyes. I'm going to call that a wrap. Happy New Year. We're hoping that it's so much better than 2020. See you later, 2020. Not gonna miss you. Don't let the door hit you. Hello, 2021, and go Browns.